I'm gonna go to the arsenal and grab like a wood hat roller. These are the type of chords that FL Studio doesn't tell you about, you know? Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to explain a crazy music theory concept that's going to help you level up your melodies. And as always, make sure to go tap in with me on social media at envyral. But let's lock in. So this is more of like an abstract idea, and honestly, that's pretty much what all of music theory is. It's just kind of like a way for you to hear music differently. So I hope after watching this video, you guys will have a better ear and just like a better appreciation of how music works. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to be talking about the concepts of consonance and dissonance. A lot of people have probably heard this, but don't really know what exactly it means. Like using these concepts, you can describe whether a melody is like more round, you know, or sharp. So first, let's start with consonance. Consonance generally just means like when a chord progression or interval is very open. Any regular chords are usually just consonant because all the notes have like very stable intervals. So if I play C major, and you can see like there's nothing really sticking out in this chord, or even if I play a chord progression, it all sounds balanced. That's because I'm using just all the right notes. When I think of consonants, I kind of think of just like wide intervals, like open voicing, you know. Like this is very consonant because I'm spreading out the notes, you know, instead of playing it in root position. And also the whole chord progression can be stable on its own just because it's like, it doesn't have any chords that want resolutions. So if I'm just playing like simple, you know, 1, 4, 5, then obviously my 5 wants to resolve, but it's not like begging me to resolve it. It's kind of like you can kind of stick here for a little bit, you know, just chill. But if I add a 7th or something, now this wants to resolve way more. And that kind of takes us to the concept of dissonance. Dissonance is pretty much the exact opposite of consonance. It's just like a very unstable sound and more cluttered notes usually. And also it sounds very tense and colorful. Anytime you add a note that's not in the chord, it usually makes it dissonant. So if I play this C major, and I add like my 4, that's very dissonant because, you know, these two notes are clashing. I can also add my second note, or, you know, that's also the 9. So I'm just going to play the same chord progression except make it more dissonant. So what I'm doing is I'm adding more notes in these chords, like, you know, just kind of filling them out. Like these two notes are right next to each other. Because the G is the last chord, so I can kind of go all out on that and then resolve it to a more consonant like sound. Some intervals are just naturally dissonant. So the first and probably most dissonant is your minor second, because these notes are right next to each other, so obviously they're going to clash. But it can also sound very pleasant. And the major second is also pretty dissonant, but it's not as sharp, it's more like rounded out. And then your next two very dissonant intervals are the minor 7 and then the major 7. If you don't know what any of these intervals are or what I'm talking about, you should go check out my intervals video. I'll link it right now. So these are the two dissonant intervals I just showed you guys, the minor and major second. The thing is, if you just take these notes up an octave, you get your major and minor 7th. And then obviously the rest of the intervals are fairly consonant, so they're kind of open. We have our minor 3, major 3, 4, 5, 6. I think the 6th is the most consonant interval because it sounds very open to me. And then you can also do that with like thirds, you know. I'm just going to show you guys some cool examples of dissonance. So I'm definitely adding a lot of like dissonant sound in there. Those two notes clashing, and then I'm adding this, the same minor second in this D minor, minor second here, major 7. And I'm kind of overdoing it. You know, you want to definitely find a balance between like consonance and dissonance. And I feel like consonance and dissonance is a pretty like yin and yang type of concept for music. They definitely highlight each other and they work very well together. So I especially love adding dissonance on minor chords because it adds a lot of tension in there. You can stack so many different notes on top of each other and create like a crazy color palette. I'm gonna try to explore some cool colors here. Very crazy, actually. I love using dissonance to kind of make my melody more like emotional and tense, but obviously dissonance can also be very scary. Like it kind of depends on context. So this is a very dissonant kind of dark progression. So the two most dissonant chords are this, because I'm playing this minor second, and then this D7. Major second here. As I said, there's a lot of different ways to make stuff dissonant. It usually just has to do with like something that doesn't really match in the chord, but adds tension or adds color. In jazz, for example, they pretty much play random notes, and then they actually try to figure out the name of this chord, like write down all the scale degrees. You can definitely find ways to finesse it and just like write, you know, sharp 11th, sharp 13th, sharp like 87th, whatever. These are the type of chords that FL Studio doesn't tell you about, you know. And I'm honestly just kind of playing random notes, but I know the basis of the chord is a D major 7. So anything I add on top of this now is kind of gonna make the chord way more like absurd and dissonant. I'm still gonna be able to sleep at night because I know this chord is just a D major 7, so this is my bass note. Like at least we know that, you know what I'm saying? Or like shout out like George Gershwin, like. Very dissonant kind of chord progression. So one of my favorite things to do is just pick a note in the scale, usually the 7th. I'm an F sharp major. This is the kind of scale that people that don't play piano don't use. So I usually take my 7th note, which is like one below the first note, obviously. I like to play just my regular chord progression, whatever I'm gonna play, and just kind of sneak the 7 in there. So I'm gonna just play this chord progression, F sharp major to E flat minor. But I'm just gonna put the 7th in here, like this note, and you'll see how that dissonance kind of spices it up. As I said before, you know, there's no rules to this. It's just more important to like train your ear to hear this kind of stuff when you're listening to music. Just a little story time real quick. One morning I was making coffee and listening to this song. I actually had to like stop what I was doing and like listen to this song because it was just blowing my mind. It's just the jazz improv by this pianist called Keith Jarrett. He's just like freestyling the whole thing, which is kind of absurd to me, but so it's from the Chord concert. Bro deadass like biting eat, like 1975 though. Bro Twizzy Rich. Piece that I actually had to like lock in on is part 2B. Around like the 7-minute mark, he starts to go insane. Bro locked in like crazy. I'll just play a little snippet of it. As you can hear, like it all sounds very dissonant. There's so many like different textures going on. The colors that he's able to achieve is actually insane to me. The really like crazy thing that he's doing is like he's building these stacks of dissonance and he keeps going higher and higher, and like every time I listen to it I don't know like how much longer he can like stack it, and then he keeps stacking like 100 bands best another rap, dissonance best another rap. Homework assignment, definitely go listen to that. Like close your eyes and just like lock in on it. Post it on your story and tag me so I know you're actually locked in, or you're just a kid. Now I'm about to just like make a beat and kind of show you guys my thought process when I'm making melodies and how I incorporate these concepts in them. Instead of playing the chords straight, I'm gonna just make a bass melody that follows just the chord progression and then add a top layer. Let's add the second voice. I don't even know like what's going on anymore, but we'll definitely juice this up. This sounds goofy, but I like it. Bro, honestly, this sounds hella hard. I just kind of like flipped it vertically. Alright, that sounds kind of hard. I'm gonna lay that down. Bro, this beat is about to be so funny, actually. This just sounds like you're in the castle already. Alright, I'm just gonna add these kind of consonant intervals in here. Alright, that sounds pretty fire. Alright, I actually wasn't planning to make like a fairy tale type beat, but like here we go. I'm gonna go to heaven and hell. Probably start in heaven because this sounds very heavenly. Let's grab the Blaze 808. Let's add this tiny ass hi-hat in here. I'm gonna copy the 808 and like maybe add a second 808 kind of to switch it up. Maybe the stereo spins, that's a classic. Texture now. Honestly, this is pretty much done, but the last thing I'm going to add is I'm going to go to the weapons. I'm going to go to the arsenal and grab like a wet hat roller. That sounds hard already, bro. I'm going to close the arsenal so YouTube doesn't demonetize with this video for violence. I feel like I'm in my castle right now with this. right, yeah, that's pretty much the goofy ass beat I just made. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a lot. Make sure to give it a like, comment below what you thought of it, and also if you want to learn how to be a Lacanier, make sure to subscribe. But that's all I got for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.